All right, Sledson listeners, welcome back to the next episode of the Sledson podcast. Appreciate you guys tuning in. As always, regardless of what platform you are on, be sure to check out some of the links in the description. If you are interested in being a part of the Sledson Brotherhood, there's a form for you guys to fill out to see if that's a fit for you. And then there's also a link to a bunch of our discount codes from our amazing sponsors that are helping sponsor and move forward with the brand of Sledson and do a lot to help us with that. So be sure to check out those links. Without further ado, let's get into this episode. So if you're watching this, you'll notice that I am back on the computer again, which means we're doing another virtual episode. So it's just myself and our very, very special guest. Let's see here. We've got, he's known by a couple of different names. One of the names is the uncle of Sledson. Another name is Smasher. Another name is Chris Kaltenbacher. Another name is Iron Dog Top Dog. Another name is the one and only Flipper to the Gripper. Got several names, dude. Several names. What's up, Smasher? How are you, buddy?
What's up? I'm good, man. I'm really good. Glad to be back on.
Same, dude. It's so good to see your face, man. It's been too long.
It's been a while. It's been a while. Yes, it has.
Yeah. So this episode, let's dive into all things Iron Dog, right? So we are just shy of a week of completion of it.
Yes. Saturday at 10 o'clock, I finished.
Okay.
The last one.
Just a week. And this was, well, I guess if you're new here and are unaware of the Iron Dog, it is the longest, most difficult snowmobile race in the world.
In the world.
It's 2,300 miles.
This year was 2,300 miles. Normally it's 2,500, but it's 2,318 miles.
Okay.
Still a lot.
Yeah, dude. So, let's start at the beginning because this was your minus your first ambassador. Okay. So four with the ambassador
one ambassador. Yep.
Okay. So your fourth time running the Iron Dog, dude, with the exception of the first year being the ambassador. I guess kind of let's start a little bit, for anybody that's new here, that's never really heard the previous episodes with you on or come across too much about the Iron Dog. Let's give like a run through of what the race entailed. That's going to cover a lot of stories, right? And then on the back half of that, I want to get more so into the mental, right? Like, why are you doing this again? What did you learn about it this time that the previous 3 times, you didn't learn? All that type of stuff. So if you want to start kind of from the beginning of what's involved in the race and take us through that whole story of your experience this time.
So the biggest thing that I'm finding out is that people aren't understanding that the Iron Dog is 2,500 miles of 2 riders, 2 sleds as you're a team. There was 30 teams, so you each have to ride your own sled the whole leg. You have to stay together. You have to be together. You have to come into checkpoints, not exactly at the same time, but you have to come in together. They have to see that both riders are there, and then you go forward and move on to the next checkpoint. I think there's 20 some odd checkpoints. There's layover spots. There's hold spots. You have to keep going. You have to make it to Nome for the halfway point, and then the restart, and then you have your wrench day. So that's the biggest misconception, is that people aren't understanding that it's 2 riders, 2 sleds as a team, and you're only as good as your weakest link, basically. It'd just be like basketball. You're only as good as your 5th player. Your worst, you're not such a worse player, but that I just put as your weakest link. You've got to carry safety gear. You've got to carry sleeping bags, stove, matches, lighters, extra gloves, some extra clothing, extra goggles. There's certain things that you have to carry, a saw, and the race department can ask you those for at any time. If you don't have them, you are disqualified.
Oh, that's serious? If you don't have that stuff?
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty serious. Like, you were DQ'd.
Just because of like a safety aspect?
100%. And this year, of all years, I really realized how important safety it is, man. It's not a joke. The first couple of years, we can go into that later, but the first few years, I just was so excited that I was racing it. And this year, really came to head.
Okay. Yeah, I'm excited to reveal kind of what you mean by that. So for also some more context, give me a timeline, right? Like this is 7 days, 6 days,
8 days, 8 days.
8 days.
The fastest team this year did it in 55 hours. I think we were 70 hours. Running the race is smooth and as clean as possible. You don't have to be necessarily the fastest, in order to be the top contender. Yeah, you need to be fast, but it's smooth and steady. No mistakes, no stucks, no breaking in your equipment, no you getting hurt, so on and so forth. Those are the things that you want to that I've learned, that I believe that this is all coming from me. Of course, if you talk to the top contenders, they may tell you different, but this is just how I perceive it and what I'm learning of doing it 4 times.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So, okay. So, I was just trying to think of how, cause I think I'm just going to kind of integrate some of the mindset stuff into this, but I guess from here, Smasher, being that this is your fourth exposure to this, like why? What drew you back to come back and do this again this season? Why'd you want to do this crazy race again, man?
I really want that top 10, man. I really wanted a top 10. I just feel like, as a little kid coming from no name, in the middle of Alaska, a bush community, I was never, supposed to be anything, if you want to say it. And then I look at, where my career has taken me and what I've accomplished in the sled community and being in the sled community for so long. And then to watch these guys and to have watched this race just grow. I look at these guys as some of the best top notch athletes. I mean, it's more than flipper to the gripper. I mean, you've got to have determination, just a special kind of stupid is what I say, a special kind of stupid to push you over that brink of not giving up, because it is like, I can explain it to you guys as much as you want, and you can think that you know how bad it is, and it's god awful. But it's the determination of your mind and willing to overcome the pain and the agony and the freezing and keep pushing it. And you can't quit. I mean, to quit, it's just so much logistically to say, oh, I'm done, and to get out of a village and
You're in the
all your
middle of
sponsors
nowhere.
and friends. Yeah. So that's just kind of something that's really intriguing to me. So, I tried for that top 10, I keep trying.
Okay. All right. And so let's talk a little bit about your partner. Cause it was a different partner from last year, correct?
Yeah. I've had a different partner every year. Cole Saban, dude is extremely fast. I mean, he really is a fast rider, much faster than me, but he's 20 years younger than me. He comes from Wisconsin. So, it's kind of his nature of riding. So he did pull me along pretty good. Other than that, I mean, not much to say. We got along pretty good. Within 8 days, I mean, you're going to have some ups and downs, some lows and some highs. And he pulled me through. I think I pulled him through a couple of times, so, it was good. And he was fast. I mean, he smoked my doors off.
Hey, let's go.
Yeah.
Not everybody gets to say that competing against Smasher.
I tried to keep up with him, and he's just got that kind of skill level for that kind of riding.
Sure. And so how did the team come together? Like how did you two decide, like, all right, let's pair up and do this together?
2 years ago, I think my first year, he ran it with another guy, and he scratched 200 miles from the finish. He was one of the guys that sunk in the river, and so uh, my old partner from last year, his dad knew him kind of and said, hey, you got to ask Cole. And so I had called Cole and said, hey, what do you think about running the Iron Dog? And he said, no, why? And I said, well, because I'm looking for a partner. And he said, oh, I'm in. And that was it.
Okay.
Away
Nice.
we went. The disadvantage that we have is that we're from the lower 48. So,
Sure.
for everybody that's looking at this and I told Cole this, like, just think about what could have been, but we only got about 30 miles to ride together. That's all. That's it. That's all the training we got. We didn't get to test our sleds, our suspension. We didn't get to test each other, so we really were going into this blind. We had no idea, like, I was supposed to lead and then find out that he was faster than me. So I was like, well, you lead. So training and knowing the familiarities of each other is huge. It really is big. And that's where we lacked big time on that, which is just, nature of the beast.
Yeah. And so is that due to like just logistics and scheduling, being able to go up to Alaska together prior to the race to get to do that? Just wasn't kind of the cards, or?
Yeah, where we built our sled, Chris Carroll and his family, Chris works up on the slope, so he's home 2 weeks on, then he's off 2 weeks. So we had to schedule around his 2 weeks off. Then he's also trying to build his son's sled. And then we also had, where Cole has kids and he's busy. I have my job. I'm busy, so to take time off, I mean, we only got what did we figure? We figured about 200 hours to build our sled. And that was from leaving my doorstep to getting to up there to doorstep and building the sleds. So we get one shot
Jeez.
at this where most of the teams are, they're building as they go.
Yeah, sure.
Even till almost race day, guys are finishing up sleds. So it's so stressful. I can't even tell you how much stress there is in that involved in that.
Mm. Mm. And so then you have to carry all that stress into the starting line too.
Yeah, then
So
you start worrying about snow conditions. You start worrying about that burn where if it has snow. Then you start worrying about Gullivan Bay if the ice had been pushed out. And then you start worrying about going over Norton and worrying about is there water in there? Do you have to take the overland trail? Not many people take the overland trail. So there's just so much more than just flipper to the gripper. Let's go up there and race it.
yeah, sure. Well, that's probably a common misconception, I would imagine. Hence why you're talking about it. So
100%.
okay, so start us off with day one on the starting line. First talk about like where your head's at in this moment when you like it's go time, right? Like what's going through your head?
Upset stomach, nerves. Am I dressed warm enough? Is it going to be snowing like it was snowing this first day? Pretty good. And in my head, I think I was in my head pretty good this year. I was just thinking about how far I had to go. We had a goal and when we were going to make it to McGrath, and so did we build the sleds right? Are the sleds going to make it? What kind of obstacles are we going to run the first day? Cole and I hadn't ridden together. So there was a lot of that, but as it got closer and closer, all I just kept saying is we're just taking the dog for a walk. That's all we're going to do today. We're going to go walk. We're walking the dog. We're going to go for an 8 day dog walking session. Let's go. Flipper to the gripper, smooth and steady.
Yep. Heck yeah.
And the first day went pretty good, other than my auxiliary lights went out the first day. I had no auxiliary lights the rest of the way to Nome. So that was a major downer for us. But other than that, it was a smooth ride. I mean, we really did have a smooth ride all the way to McGrath.
Was it a product faulty or did you mess up on install or something? Or did you ever figure out why?
I think it was install. I think it was a little bit install. It was one of those things that just got missed.
Gotcha.
Honestly, it was just some loose wiring.
Gotcha. Okay. So other than that, it day one overall, you would say went pretty smooth?
Yeah, it went pretty good. It was really warm. We did have one mishap at Squintna, my partner. We filled up with fuel and oil, and you're in a hurry and you're excited and all this adrenaline. And he took off, and we got about a quarter of the mile from the checkpoint. And he's like, in our Cardo comms, he's like, dude, I'm losing power. I'm losing power. My sled's going down. And I'm like, what? And he stops and he rips off the side panel. And he forgot to put the oil cap on top of his oil reservoir. And the oil was dumping out all over the clutches. So I was like, all right, no big deal, no big deal. So I went back and I found the cap and came back. And for the next 10 miles, I could just smell his belt burning on the clutch,
Nice.
So, other than that, we tuned the shocks a little bit on the way up. And then other than that, it was good. We had a good run all the way into McGrath.
Okay. So then if we're getting into the first night, maybe kind of set the tone here, because how do you go about the process of like figuring out where to stay, right? Because like throughout this trip, you're way the hell out and random, in the middle of nowhere into these little villages and stuff. So just kind of give us a little bit of context before we go into day two, talking about your first night, like how that whole process works on where you're going to stay throughout the whole race. And
so before the race even starts, McGrath is your first checkpoint, or your layover checkpoint for a night checkpoint. Unacleat is your second layover checkpoint. Kotzebue is your third layover checkpoint. Nome's your fourth layover checkpoint. And then on the way back, it's always kind of up in the air because you either make it to Galena or Ruby, and you can take a layover there. So McGrath, there's like a bed and breakfast. You can stay anywhere you want. So a lot of people know families in the villages and they'll stay there. For us, we stayed at the McGrath, like a bed and breakfast, and you called there ahead of time. So you have to call there like in Oh, this summer I would call and make my reservation because it'll fill up quick. Same thing with
Sure.
Kotzebue. I would make a reservation at the hotel. I'd make a reservation at the Nome Hotel. And then for Unaclete, I stay with a high school buddy. And then for some of the other small villages, if everything was full, you just can ask, like when you get up to the checkers, you say, hey, is there somewhere where we can stay? And there's always a villager. The villagers are awesome. They're more than willing to help you. You know, they'll make you dinner. And then you always leave a couple $100 each. Each rider leaves a couple $100 to pay for the, you know, when you stay at the villagers' homes.
Sure. Sure. Okay.
So in any time, I mean, where did we stay? Oh, when we were in, okay, so I'll explain that more. So that's kind of how the housing works.
Okay. Okay.
So you do get
Gotcha.
running showers and water, and you know when you stay at these hotels, there's like McGrath, they feed us so damn good, it's unreal.
How'd that first night hot shower feel?
Really,
Probably
really
not as good
good,
as the
man.
last one once you got back home, I bet. But
No, but it feels good because you know, especially in the morning, your muscles are all tight. I didn't take one in the morning, I guess, but I did take one at night, and it just kind of loosens you up, and then you climb into
sure.
bed, and you're out. You're so out.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. So carry us into day two.
Day two, man, we ran so perfect. We really did. We ran these Cardo comms communications, they call them, in our helmets, and
Yep.
you go through from we go from McGrath to Ophir, and then Ophir to Portman, and Ophir to Portman is notorious for being kind of in my opinion, it's kind of a nasty area. I mean, the snow can be really good. It can be deep. It can be hard. It's wind drifted. You can take the Anoka River, which is super fast. And this year we didn't get to take it because of overflow and then a couple feet of snow on top of it. So it made it really treacherous. So they made us, or they told us to take the overland. So we did. And the key there is to be smooth and steady. We kept repeating it to each other in the radio saying, hey, smooth and steady, because you blow a corner and you get stuck, and these machines get stuck super easy.
Yeah.
You hit trees. We did have a couple of stucks. We did with the trail wide, and we took the wrong way, and then we went to turn around. I ended up getting stuck. Um, and
Oh
then
boy.
my partner blew a couple of corners. But other than that, we ran great all the way to right before Unaclete. Started getting dark, and my partner was like, "Hey, my sled's running. Something's wrong." And we flipped it on its side, and he had lost a rear torsion spring, and then where the torsion spring connects to the rear skid, it kind of blew it up and smoked it. So that kind of that was a major issue that cost us some time. So but running to Unaclate, you know, we get to Unaclate, we stay at my buddy's house, and then it was in the search for parts. You know, we got up at 8 o'clock. We were supposed to be on the clock by noon. We searched for parts, high and low. It just was a really hard town to find parts in. We went down to the grocery store, and that's kind of where everybody hubs, and that's where they take off from. The checkers have you. And we tried to find parts there. My partner thought he found parts, and he went over to check the sled that this gentleman had, and there was no parts on it. And then we were
Oh,
looking for a shop because it's a blizzard outside. I mean, you got 50-mile-an-hour winds, it's blowing snow, it's negative temperatures, so you can't work out on a sled in there. Honestly, to tell you the truth, I had kind of checked out. I figured we were done just because we couldn't find any parts. And Cole kept pulling, kept pulling, kept pulling. You know, tempers got a little heated, and not
sure.
in a bad way, but you know, if you're telling the truth, they did get a little heated. But Cole pulled us through. Um, we ended up finding the parts from a high school kid that got done at noon. So we were on the clock, and then the the shop that we were going to go into, their loader broke down, so they couldn't back out the loader. So they had to use another loader to push that loader forward, so they give us
Oh
enough
my.
room, yeah, to build it. You know, and this is everything that you're doing. And in our head, we knew that there was a massive storm coming in. So this is putting us 3 hours behind than we should have left. So we should have left at noon. Now we're leaving at 3 o'clock. So now we're that much farther into the storm, knowing that we still had, you know, what, 300, 400 miles, 380 miles to go.
Oh,
So that's how that second, or that was, so now we're into the third day. So the third day, so we did get everything fixed. We tore the other kid's skid apart. We took the parts out of his. We made a list of what we needed to send back to him, and then we built my partner's sled all back together. And then we took off, and we made it and then skipping forward, we went over, you know, over the bay, which was really rough and nasty. And then we get to Koyuk, and then Koyuk to Buckland. The storm started rolling in at the very end, and that's usually a pretty fun ride. because it's just rolling hills over just frozen tundra. A little bit of snow, so you can haul the mail on that. And Cole led us through that, and then it started getting really bad as we got into Buckland, and we took off out of Buckland. We were going to try and make it to Selawik and make our way up to Kotzebue, and the storm hit us, and we were right in the middle of it. It was blowing so hard, Tyler, that you couldn't keep your sled going straight on the ice. It would push you. I mean, I was full kilt turn, and
Holy
it would just
crap,
blow you.
dude.
Yeah, thought the windshield was going to blow off my sled. We were searching for the trail. You're following GPS. It's at night. We knew no one was behind us, so that was kind of scary. And at one point, we finally stopped about an hour into it, and we were kneeling down in front of our sleds. And Cole literally said, "What do you want to do, bub?" And I just said, "You know what, Cole? Today's not a good day to die. I'm not going to lie. Today's not a good day to die." And he said, "I have 3 daughters at home. I need to go home too." I said, "So let's go back." And so we went back to the village where uh, 3 other teams have already shacked up at the house that we were at. And then another team showed up. So we had 5 teams. So we had 10 people in one little house. And this
Dang.
lady took us in and fed her. And then there was a yellow flag. The Iron Dog threw up a yellow flag and said, everybody's on hold because of weather.
Okay. Man,
So that
is
was the
that
third day.
okay? So that's obviously got to be probably pretty severe for Iron Dog to step in like that. Then, yeah, that probably doesn't
It,
happen super often. Or
no, usually they say keep going. I mean, it's crazy when you talk to the race marshal. When you call the race marshal, say, "Yeah, keep going." You know what you're getting into when you sign up for this race. You're in Alaska. I mean, if you think it's going
sure,
to be sunny and a parade every day, you're wrong. It's always flat light. You can't see. It's blowing. It's windy on the coast. It's colder than anything you can imagine. There's no groomed trails. It's all bumpy and hard drifts and just flat out. The worst conditions you can think of.
yeah, yeah, okay. So you had to turn back around and go back to that house with 10 dudes, five total
Yeah.
teams. Spent the night there, and then now we're getting into day 4
Day four.
from
So
here.
now we're
Okay,
now we're behind.
okay.
Now we're behind.
And has the storm
They
blown through at this point? The start of day
No, it's
4,
even
then for
worse.
oh,
It
perfect.
took a break between Koyuk or between Buckland and Selawik. The storm had kind of let up, so we took off with the other 5 groups. We went with another guy, Barber, and he's a 20-time Iron Dog vet, and he was with his daughter, so he led all his teams, and we got to Selawik. And then my partner had decided that we were going to go faster than them, so we took off like a bat out of hell, made it about 5 miles from the village, and I smoked an A-arm coming around into the ditch and
Oh
just
no.
just wadded it up. So those 4 teams all passed us, waving. You guys good? We're like,
Yep.
yeah, we're just dumb. We're just dumb.
Yeah.
And then that whole debacle, that was a nightmare. Changing an A-arm out and blowing snow and cold and in the trees, and you have to stay fully geared. So it took us about 2 hours there. We dropped the 13 millimeter in the snow, and of course that was a huge issue because that was the only 13 millimeter we had. We had to cut a hole in the bottom of my skid plate to get a open end wrench to put on one of the A-arm bolts because we didn't have another socket set. So we had to
Holy
cut a hole in
crap,
there
dude.
with a Leatherman and broke one of the Leathermans we broke. Um, then we couldn't get the spindle, the ball joint in the spindles, so we were beating the hell out of that with my old A arm. We ended up having to take off the A arm to get it all to fit back together. We lost one of the bushings in the front shock. I'm sure everybody knows in the front shock, you got those 2 bushings, those brass bushings.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
we lost one of those and we looked for 15 minutes for that. So I came up with
Oh,
getting
brother.
2 washers that you could put in between that and the A arm to hold the shock from wiggling. It's not going to hold the shock from jiggling in there, but at least that did get us to Kotzebue. So we spent 2 hours out there, and the 2 hours that we were out there, the race marshal had called my old partner's dad, Chris Carroll, and was like, "Hey, should we send search and rescue? We haven't heard anything. Their dots aren't moving." Then, of course, my wife started freaking out, thinking, "Oh my
Oh,
gosh,
I'm
what's
sure.
going on?" But like I think one of them, either my wife or Chris, had said, if something was really wrong, they'd get a hold of us. I had my Garmin, but when you're in race mode, I really didn't even think about it. I'm just thinking, we got to fix this A arm. We're
The
both out
next
here
right thing to do.
freezing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we fixed that, and away we went. And then we hit the mother of all mother blizzards. And That's where
Wait, it
life
gets
got
even
really.
worse. Oh my
Oh,
god.
dude. Like I'm telling you guys, have you ever flown out of an airplane when not actually you have, but flying in an airplane, you know, when it's perfectly white outside the plane, you can't see anything. You can't tell which way's up, down, left, right when it's that
Sure.
white. That's exactly what we rode in. My partner was 20 feet from me on the 7S gauge, and I could not see him. I could see he was next to me, and we would almost hit each other. Repeatedly, we almost hit each other. Um, and that was scary. That was really scary. We did that for, I don't know, 3 hours, just following a GPS line. You just stare at your gauge and you'd watch in front of you, but you're watching nothing. There's nothing to
Yeah.
watch. You
Yeah.
couldn't tell if you were going uphill, downhill. I mean, obviously on my gauge, it would show me that we're on the ocean,
Yeah.
and I'm like, if this thing were to freeze up, if your gauge were to freeze up, basically you would just have to stop and get in your bivy sack and put your sleeping bag in there and curl up because you
Yeah.
can't go anywhere. You wouldn't know which way you were going.
Sure.
There's no way. I turned around one time because my face mask had messed with my goggles, my heated goggles. So snow was getting inside. So I faced the wind and was just cleaning them out and put it back on. And when I went to leave, I had no which way I had turned. Like I had to zoom all the way out of my gauge to figure out which way to go again because I was that disoriented.
Oh my gosh, dude.
You'd think you'd see bushes and mountains, but there's nothing there. Like you would look around thinking you'd see something, and it was nothing.
That's so
I hit,
scary,
I
dude.
hit, I hit bush. There was a thing of bushes that was close to the edge of the river that we were on. For some reason, we were hugging the edge of the bank, and I hit it, and my sled was vertical, like I was kissing my windshield. And
Oh
when it slammed
my.
down, my partner was like, "Why the hell are we next to the shore? Like, let's get back in the middle." And so we went back in the middle, and eventually we made it to land. And then when we made it to land, Cole had gotten off the trail a little bit. You know, he was frustrated. He got stuck because you can't see anything. So he
Yeah.
got stuck. So I started leading. I think I did a little better leading there. It gave him a break. But it was so bad that, you know, like the whiskers they put up to mark trails and roads and the flappy ones.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
ran right over one because it came up so fast. I was only doing 21 miles an hour, but you can't see it. And I hit one of those. Um, and we just kept going. You know, you could see the indentation in the tundra, and it was frozen. The snow all kind of almost accumulates there because it gets trapped by the wind when it blows
Hmm.
and it fills in the trail. So you could tell where the trail was kind of. So we just followed that for the next couple hours, and we got to Kotzebue, and that was the greatest feeling in the world. Like we beat death. We're here.
Yeah.
You know, people are out there waving and stuff, and they're standing sideways, and
Dude.
so
That's bonkers.
yes.
So this
So that
was
was day 4.
day 4. Okay. All right. And a huge sigh of relief when you got home for the night,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful hotel there. We stayed there for the night, had a big dinner. Iron Dog pays for dinner, and then the next morning, bright and early, they start releasing you again, and you got to go all the way to Nome. So all the way to Nome. So that was another 350 some odd miles,
Okay.
and then
So the morning, or I guess the night of 4 into the morning of 5, did you have to go back and adjust and make any fixes to your A arm since you did it
no.
in
So
backup?
once you're you can't work on your sled. The only time you can work on your sled is when you're on the clock. That's it. You
Okay.
cannot touch your sled. You can look at your sled all you want. You can go get parts and you can go get tools, but
Right.
you can't touch your sled ever. You can't even get
Okay.
anything off it. Like if you forgot your cell phone on it, it's there. You can take a penalty of an hour, but no one's going to do that.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So essentially how you fixed it while you're out there, it was fine
Is
enough
how
to just keep going. Just didn't want
Actually,
to.
that night, a villager was at the hotel, and I asked him, "Hey, do you have a spare bushing?" He actually went and took a bushing off of his sled and gave it to me, and I put it in my pocket. So as soon as we were back on the clock, as soon as they said 5, 4, 3, we had the tools ready. One, go. We went through the starting gate, went back up by the hotel, flipped it over where the lights were, pulled off the bottom of the shock in the air, and put the bushing in there, put the bolt back in there.
Okay.
Away we went.
Okay.
So it cost us
Okay.
like 10 minutes.
Okay. And then that's the start of day 5.
It's day 5. So day 5, you have to go through Kotzebue. You leave Kotzebue, you make it all the way to Buckland, and then Buckland to Koyuk, and then Koyuk, you go over towards Elam and White Mountain. So we get to Buckland, everything's good. Buckland to Koyuk was fast. It started storming pretty good there too, little ground storm where it was you could see blue skies and sunny above you, but on the ground It was blowing 50 miles an hour wind, snow, like you couldn't see. We got stuck pretty good with another team in one of the ditches, and the top 6 inches of the snow was hard as concrete. So I got stuck in one of those, did a nice scorpion in the ditch. It was super cool. Um,
Nice.
we make it to Koyak, and the top 4 teams are on layover there. So in my mind, when you see the top 4 teams, well, 4 of the top 5 teams were there. A couple of the teams had taken off. So I said, hey, let's declare a layover. And we took a layover there for an hour, and we found out that the trail was supposed to be broken because the sea ice had been washed out. So you couldn't take the sea, you couldn't go out on the ocean, you had to take the overland trail. Well, the overland trail hadn't been used in, I don't know, 20 years or some 15 years. And so
Jeez.
there's expedition teams up there, and 5 or 6 pro teams up there, and they got stuck up there, I think, for 8 hours.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they'd go 20 feet at a time. They would walk it in and they'd pull a wide track forward. They'd walk 20 feet, pull it forward, walk 20 feet, pull it forward, and they'd all leapfrog. They'd all help each other walk, go back and grab someone's sled and move them forward. They had to cut 10-inch round logs. The pro teams were extremely mad, which I couldn't agree more with them because the trail was
Yeah.
supposed to have been broken. They got told wrong information. That's
Well,
a whole nother story that we don't need to get into because I don't want to be part of it. And,
yeah.
um, I have feelings about it, but anyway, so we held over for 5 hours there in Koyak, and then once they started moving, they got past it. Basically, they broke trail for us, and it's all strategic. It's all strategic. Everybody has the chance to lay over, and they can play the layover game, and eventually people will run out of layover time, and then they got to go, and they'll have to break trail. But a lot of people are complaining, saying that that's not right and that's not racing. But I've learned that the Iron Dog is being strategic about everything that you do and pay attention about your surroundings, what everybody's doing. When you see a top team taking a layover, they're not doing it because they want to, because the top teams, they want to get to where they want to be so that they have more time to rest,
Yeah.
is what I
Sure.
see.
Sure.
So, anyways, we
Sure.
make it through this. My partner was pretty spooked out. There was a 100-foot cliff next that you have to go by, this 100-foot cliff. And it is as wide as a snowmobile, and it is thick as trees, like a jungle. And you go through this for, I don't even know how many miles, maybe 10 miles, and you go up and down and through these trees, and you finally make it through it. And then you get to Gullivan. We get to Gullivan, I'm sorry, not Gullivan. We get to White Mountain. My partner had broken another torsion spring. We took that torsion spring off. And then Team 18, which is my old partner, they had kind of caught up with us. So then we all took off to Nome. We get about 5 miles out of White Mountain, and I see a big poof of snow. I'm like, what the hell? And then I see my partner's headlights pointing back at me. I'm like, well, this isn't good. And
Oh
yeah, he
no.
took a little flipper to the gripper and went over the
Oh
bars, and he
no.
was fine. He was fine.
Okay.
He didn't break anything. He got lucky. And anyways, we race Team 18. They were a little bit faster than us, and they beat us into Nome. And as we're coming into Nome, they ran out of fuel right at the finish line. I mean, right at the finish
I
line,
saw this on your
literally.
story.
Yes. So
Yeah.
we helped them get them up there. But come to find out, I just found out today that we won whatever it was, $1,500 for being the last team into Nome. So we actually
Okay.
did win something.
Nice. Nice. Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so we make it into Nome, and that was that. Now your sleds go to the shop. They stay at the shop. They thaw out. You get 15 minutes with the race marshal to look over it. You can open up side panels, take off the hood, flip it on its side. You can do anything you want. You can't adjust anything. You can't fix anything. And then you have to put it all back together. And then that gives you time to go get parts and fittings and all your tools. So then when you go back, then when you tell the
You
race
know.
marshal when you want to do your wrenching, then they time you, and then that time is added to your overall time.
Gotcha. And how was that for the two of you? Did you have a lot to do,
Uh,
or were sleds
we
okay?
did. We changed four torsion springs, fixed my lights, changed some carbides on our Mohawk skis, um, adjusted some shocks, uh, and a couple other small little dinky things. I had to tape up a hole that I had put in my hood somehow. I don't even know how. I have no idea how I got a hole in my hood. Um, fixed Cole's windshield, and that was about it, honestly. So that took us 25 minutes,
Okay. Yeah,
which is
not bad.
pretty good. No,
Yeah.
not bad at all.
Okay. Okay, so now we're getting into day 6.
Yeah. So then we stayed the night there, and then they give you your release times, and then you take off. So the next morning we took off at 9 9:33, I think, is when we took off. And this was our longest day because we were a day behind. Like we missed a banquet in Nome. We missed all that, so we were a day behind. So we had to go 620 miles that day.
Holy crap.
Yeah, I was not happy. Cole and I weren't, but
I bet
it
not,
was
dude.
it was a long day. But you let that. That's where you got it. That's where the mental mindset just mile by mile, tick by tick, you got to go. And our whole goal was to run this smooth as we could. Like we did amazing that day. We really did. Cole definitely was a little bit more, I put that with age because he's 34, probably a little better shape than me. He definitely blew my doors off, but from Nome to Unacleat, we did really good. We did awesome. We smoked it. And then from Unacleat to Caltag, we didn't have one stuck. We didn't get off the trail. We didn't break anything. And then
Nice.
we made it to Galena. The run from Caltag to Galena was really good, fast, super fast. The river was smooth as heck. It's crazy how you can go northbound and 3 days later when you come through, the conditions can change 100%.
Yeah, that's
Um,
wild.
we get to
Alaska for
Galena
you.
and yeah, totally. We get to Galena and we're freezing. So we get in there and we stay in the community rec center. We go into their boiler room. We take off most of our clothes and we just sit in that boiler room and drink hot cocoa and just sit by the boiler because you're so damn cold.
Yeah.
Um, and then from Galena, we take off to finish up the night. We take Galena, we go to Ruby, which is about 53 miles or 48 miles. We go there, and then the temperatures got down to 40 below. And
Yep.
then, then we had to go to Tanana was our goal. And so we made it there, and I can't remember, we got in at like midnight, but I think that was one of the coldest nights I've ever been on a snowmobile to the point where I felt like I was falling asleep. I was so damn cold. And I had on Teton wool, a 3.0, a quarter zip pullover, a Maverick puffy jacket, my tech vest, and my Valdez jacket. And I was cold.
That's like 7 layers or something.
Yeah, I know. And it was ridiculous. And I think I stopped 2 times to just jog in place because I was so damn cold. And every time you stop, you in your head, you're like, okay, this is taking you longer to get to your checkpoint. And
Yeah.
Cole had checked out. Cole was gone. I mean, he could see my headlight, but I couldn't see him at all. So it's kind of spooky, when you're with your partner and he leaves you that far behind. It gets spooky when you're out there by yourself because then
Sure.
my reaction is to slow down because if I wad up and get hurt, does he know to come back?
Yeah.
I knew he did, but how long would it take you? And I was going over, sometimes you're going over slush in the river and the sled's bouncing all over. So what if you were to flip and get pinned underneath your sled? So that started going through my mind. So I could feel myself going slower. And I think maybe that's because I'm older too, honestly to God. I think, I have less of that adrenaline in my body, a little bit less testosterone. So, and I've wrecked so many times in my life. I know that can happen. So anyways,
Yeah.
we make it to Tanana and I drank coffee that was so that looked like tar. It looked like tar,
Hell
and it was
yeah.
so good. We slept in the high school there. They fed us pretty well. There was ham and turkey and stuffing, and the next morning there was bacon and eggs and hash browns and sausage, um, cinnamon rolls, and we slept on these little cots with some sleeping bags and hung your stuff up on the walls to dry out, and then everybody took all their maximum, but whatever it was, 13-hour, 14-hour layovers because the trail was not broken in and they had dumped like 3 feet. So it was a
Totally.
waiting game again.
Dang.
So
Okay.
then,
So
so
this is
that
going
that's going
into
into
day
day 7.
7. Yeah. Okay.
Day 7. Well, yeah, that was day 7. That would have been day 7. That was day 7.
Okay.
That was day 7 that we finished. Tanana's day 7. Day 8 was the final day.
Okay. And pause right there is a question I forgot to ask at the beginning. Smasher, what sleds are you on?
We are
Skidoos.
on 600. Yeah, yeah. Polaris 600s, the cross country race sleds,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
136. Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's all
So
you can run.
3 feet of fresh is not ideal
No, it's
for
amazing. You
those.
get off and they don't, and they're wide. They're super wide. It's
Yeah.
hard to turn them. You've got, what do we have? 4 gallons of extra fuel in the back, plus all your gear, A arms. So you got some weight. I bet you these things weigh 800 pounds.
Holy cow. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a lot. Yeah. Yeah. So three feet of fresh for that was not music to your ears.
We're back. We're back.
Okay.
Sorry about
No,
that.
I just mentioned 3 feet of fresh is not music to your ears on those things.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all, man.
Yeah.
So going into day 8, um, was warmer, was much warmer. And you only have a few. The river was really nasty, we heard, because it had snowed. So you can't see the shark ice that's underneath the snow. You can't see the logs, the stumps, the sandbars. We've been warned about that over and over and over, smooth and steady, because where our time was at is where our time was at. We weren't going to make up 2 hours on anybody or an hour on anybody unless they broke down. As long as we were smooth and steady, we were golden.
Yeah.
So we took off. Everything was good. And then all of a sudden I see my partner on the side of the trail, and I see him kind of like, he's upset. It's kind of like, punching the air. Like, I could see his head down. And I'm like, oh, what's going on? And I pull up and he's like, we went the wrong way by about 10 miles. And I look down at my GPS, and sure enough, we were on the GPS trail.
Oh no.
Um, there's only one trail though. That's the crazy thing. There's only one trail. So come to find out. So we turn around, we're freaking out, and we're looking at the marked tracks, and we're like, hey, there's a creek, a slough over here. Maybe we should go through that slough, and it'll take us back to the trail that we need to get to. So we go over and we look at it. And in my mind, I'm thinking, dude, this is boondockers. Like, we can boondock through this creek bottom. And Cole was like, hey, this is a bad idea. Let's no, let's don't go. So I listened to him. I was like, all right. And thank God we didn't. We go back to the trail that we were on, and 2 other guys came, and they're like, we talked to them, blah, blah, blah. They're like, you're going the right way. We don't know what you guys have over there, but that's the wrong trail. We'll come to find out. When we downloaded our GPS, it didn't download the right tracks to go back to Fairbanks. So the other one was the Commissioner's Trail, which will take you the same place we're going, but it's off limits. So we would have had to come all the way back and redo all that.
Oh boy.
So it all worked out.
Okay.
So then, anyways, we keep going, and we get to the next checkpoint, and we're on hold. We have to hold so that the lead teams can get by us. So the first 3 teams are into Fairbanks first. So that was a real drag, because you get undressed and you sit there, and they fed us some more food, but you're sitting in this rec center again, where you just want to be done. You're sore, you're tired, you just want to be done. And once again, you got to take off all your clothes, and you're hanging out, and you got to get dressed again. So then the 3 teams take off, and they go to the finish, and then they start releasing us by our times.
Gotcha.
And then away we go. And I told my partner, hey, smooth and easy to the finish line. Dude, he takes off like a bat out of hell, just going, just balls to the wall.
Yeah.
And there's an Arctic Cat team behind us that I thought we were 10 minutes ahead of us, and I could see their lights were coming up on us. So I was giving her everything I had, man. I was tired. I was sore. I was holding them off pretty good. And then we caught up to another team, and they didn't let me by right away. And the Arctic Cat team caught up to us. And so when we got around them, I was just flipper to the gripper, giving it everything, and they were on my ass.
Yeah.
And I couldn't shake them. So I finally pulled over and let them go. And I knew in my head, as long as I could see their taillights, that was enough time, because we had them by 10 minutes. And then I saw him pass my partner. And then I was like, whatever it is what it is. And then as you get close to Fairbanks, there's bonfires, and that's when the adrenaline starts going. And then fireworks, people were lighting off fireworks. So you're going by their houses and on the river. And
that's cool.
Dude, just the emotions start just coming in big time. You're like, I did it. I'm here. It's over, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then you pull into the finish line, you go underneath the big climb arch, and it's just packed with people. And I see my son, I see my wife, I see other friends. And it's over. You pull up underneath there, and it's such a huge relief. It's just, it sounds dumb or cliche or whatever, but you just feel like a god.
Yeah.
I mean, you really just feel invincible. Like, I did this 2,300 miles of the worst stuff, and you pushed your mind and body through it, and your sled made it that you built.
Yep. Yeah, dude. Man, that's got to be such an unreal feeling. I obviously can't imagine.
and it goes by like that. Like I was trying to really soak it in. I'm trying to pay attention to my wife and to my son, and they're cold because they've been standing there for 2 hours waiting
Waiting
for
for
you,
you.
and everybody else is hugging you, and I had done 7 months of sobriety on not drinking. I was like, I want a beer, dude. This is where I break it right here. Like,
Yeah.
this is a good reason. So,
Yeah.
to drink a Coors Light and, just that relief, like you could feel your body just crumble from all the adrenaline just because, you had no choice. So,
Sure.
it was one of the best feelings in the world. It really
Man,
is.
that's awesome, dude. That's so cool. So, what did you end up finishing for time then in place?
Man, we were 70 hours, 38 minutes. We were 1 hour out of 10th.
1 hour.
And
Oh,
yeah, 1 hour out of 10th place. One damn hour.
dang.
And every team can do this. I'm not arguing, but I was talking with Chris Carroll because his son ran it against me and he was my partner. So we had this beef going, who was going to beat who,
Yeah.
and they're younger and the young guns and blah, blah, blah. But, if you took out our broken parts, the broken A-arm, and I think there was a total of 10 stucks. And each of those you figured 10 minutes. So that's 100 minutes. You take that all away. We're in the top eight.
Yeah.
We're in the top eight.
Yeah.
And the year before, when I ran it with Austin, we didn't break one part, not a single thing. I mean, I broke an A-arm this year. His partner broke a couple torsion springs. And Cole's thing on his rear skid was just, it was crazy. No one had ever seen that. It was one of those weird things. But you can play the what if game, and the what if, we only had 30 miles of riding. We didn't get to test our suspension, so you iron all that out. We were a top 10 team from a lower 48, and I mean that I'm proud of what we did. I really am, because
Sure.
we finished. That's the big thing. And
Yeah.
a lot of people look at it from the outside, going, "Oh, dude, I could do this. I'll flip it. I'm so fast, dude." But it's not about being fast. It's about being smooth and clean, and building your sled right, and wearing the right gear, and knowing when to hold them and when to fold them. I kept saying that in my head too.
Yeah.
So there's so much more to it. But yeah, 1 hour from 10th.
Yeah. That's crazy. That's close. That's really close. But at the same time, kind of like what you were saying there, like if you do start playing the what ifs, I mean, that could just, that could mentally destroy you. At that point you have no control over it. So why be consumed by that? It doesn't serve you. Just take
And that's just,
go ahead.
it's just one of those things where you get stuck and you're like, damn, we got to go faster now. You can't go faster. You just got to keep that same pace. That's it. You start going faster, and that's when mistakes happen. I mean, you break something, you're trying to hurry to fix it. Don't do that. Just smooth and steady.
Yeah. Yeah.
You look at like Tyler and Nick and Chris Olds and Ryan and the other guys, Davis and his partner. And I look at Gossett and Moore. They're just smooth. Like they were just super smooth. You watch the way that they come into a checkpoint and get off the clock, and what they do is very, very methodical, and that's where, and their machines are just dialed in. And when you have that comfort and that ability and that belief that your machine is going to
Yeah.
handle
Sure.
what you're putting it through, that's where that comes in. Where it's in my head, I had already wrecked once because mine was bucking, and I haven't learned my suspension.
Yeah.
I've been told a million times, but until I do it, I don't understand it. So, anyways, that's that.
Yeah.
We finished.
Well, dude, I mean, obviously it kind of goes without saying, and I texted you prior to this, obviously, but congratulations, dude. Like, I mean, to finish that, it's a insane achievement, and not a lot of people get to say that because there was, unfortunately, obviously there was some teams that ended up scratching out of this, like right from the jump.
Yeah, there was quite a few teams. There was
Sure.
another team, Chris Sindorf and Tyler Gurley, and we battled with them quite a bit. And that was really fun. I mean, it was like a battle, and we passed them, they passed us, and then on the seventh day they had to scratch, and that 400 miles from the finish. I mean, that's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
That's horrible. That hurt. That makes my hands sweat.
Yeah.
All that work, and it was electrical. They had electrical issue, and you're done.
Yep.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah, if we kind of turn our attention to some of the questions that are a little bit deeper and more mental for you, Smasher. So obviously, this was your third race minus the very beginning one with the ambassador thing that you did. But this is kind of a two-part question, right? So this being the third race for you, did this race kind of reveal anything to you that maybe the first two races didn't. On the part A of this question is on like tactics and things that you learned, which you kind of touched on, right? But actual like tangible stuff that the first two races didn't reveal to you that this one did. And then part B to that same question, but up here, right? Like mental, right? Did this race reveal some new things about you and your mental state that maybe the first two races didn't reveal to you? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Mentally, I felt weaker this time. I'm not sure why. I'm not sure where I've lost my edge. I don't know if I got spooked this time because I think I understood how serious like these storms were. You start looking at you and your partner, and if stuff goes wrong, I have to believe that Cole's going to save my life, and he has to vice versa. And without knowing someone, and when you're in that kind of situation, you don't really know each other, and you think you're going out for a ride. So I think mentally I found myself counting miles, which I've never done before, where I've just been so excited to do this race.
Okay.
Um, the other part is, yeah, I learned a lot. My suspension means more to me than I really believed. I knew it was important, but testing it and really knowing what it's going to do, because that dictates how fast and how smooth your race is going to go, how hard you can push it. Because once my suspension started bottoming out, my knee started to hurt. Now I'm thinking about my knee. Now I'm slowing down. Now I'm hitting the brakes more. I'm putting, more wear and tear on my machine, on my thumb, on my brake finger, which are already hurting with my ingrown nail. I'm bumping that more, so all this is playing into it. So it does. I did learn that. I learned more about, where I want to put stuff on my sled, an extra face mask, my liner for my helmet, my face tape, stupid little things where you think, oh, I'll just pack it and I'll get it later. Because honestly, what's ever on your person in your overnight bag is really all you're ever going to touch.
Yeah. Yeah.
So a lot of guys carry a toothbrush, some tape, some toothpaste, and something else, and that's all they carry in their jacket. Where I carry extra socks because I'm that guy. I want extra socks just
Yeah.
because if my feet get wet, I want extra socks. I
Sure.
think about the worst things, and that's just because of stuff that's happened in my life. It does happen. It will happen, and it's just a matter of time. So, to answer your questions, those are the things that I think that brought forth this year.
Okay. Okay. Anything more that you haven't already spoken on the actual race side? Anything else that you can think of that was revealed to you? Or I know you've already
No, not really. I
shared
mean,
quite a bit, but
yeah, I think. There's just so much, Tyler. I mean, there really is, and I just it's just so brief, but it's all about training too. Before the race, I got 300 miles because of our snow conditions. I rode dirt bike a lot, but then I got spooked on my dirt bike and didn't ride a whole lot. Where I think Cole I heard he got like 2,000 miles riding, and obviously that benefited him in a big way.
yeah.
Him being younger, me being older, going to the gym is fine, but that's not to say we all know you can go work out all you want. But riding a sled is completely different than what you do at the gym.
Yeah. Yeah.
Reaction time, the feel of the sled, so, and then riding a mountain sled compared to one of these sleds is completely different. It really is.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So,
it's obviously one thing to pour so much attention and focus on the race itself, right? You've done this three full times now, and I'm curious how your involvement with racing the Iron Dog so many times has it in any manner like changed your approach to life, right? So like after you have voluntarily because that's what it is, volunteering to do this, right? You've put yourself through something like this extreme, from the physical, financial, mental, all of the above, right? How doing that 3 times plus the 4th with the ambassador, but how does all of those experiences, and especially like this most recent one, how does that bleed into your approach to like everyday life, right? Like, has the Iron Dog changed how you, for example, handle stress, comfort, or excuses? Like, how does that mold and shape who Smasher is moving forward after all this?
Yeah, yeah, it has. I feel like with just who I am and what I've gone through in life, I don't know why it's happened this way, but I feel like anything that I put my mind to, I can accomplish now. I really do believe that from what I've gone through. Iron Dog is definitely, I think it's made me look at life differently as far as um, just how wonderful life can be. You know, it was a dream, and I never thought I would run it. And now look, I'm 3-0, baby. I've never
Mm-hmm.
scratched,
Yeah.
and I've persevered through a lot. And I think I give a lot of credit to Chris Olds. The first year he was an ambassador where we sunk those sleds in Golden Bay, and to watch him and see his attitude, and he never wavered at all. Like it was like, okay, no big deal. You know, this is what we're going to do. He had a plan, you know, and he made it happen. My second partner, Eric, he was the same way. You know, if anything happened, dude, we were there to fix it. So, you know, Austin was cool and smooth. So I do feel like it has changed my outlook on life. Excuses. I broke my arm last year and dislocated that elbow and it snapped my wrist and it bothered me the whole race. You know what? It is what it is. I tried not to tell Cole that too much, but you know, I did tell him a couple times it was really hurting. I didn't want that to be an excuse, but I had to deal with it. A lot of ibuprofen. Um, but you know, how bad do you want it? I'm sure you could quit and say it hurts, but you know, that's why I'm saying it takes a special breed. I mean, I saw a guy with the blister on his palm that was the whole size of his palm. It looked like a tea bag on his palm, and he finished the race. Another
Dang.
guy had a black thumb, a completely black thumb, and it's frostbitten. I mean, I don't know if he's going to lose it, but he finished it. These people out
Dang.
here are tough. It doesn't matter the excuse. You
Yeah.
know, the guy with the blister, he's pretty sure he broke his arm. It was all black and blue. His side was blue. So that just proved to me like you can if you want it bad enough, you'll push your body through it.
Yeah.
You'll make it.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, there's extremes that you can't tolerate it. But if you just have Austin this year wrecked really bad. My last year partner and his shoulder popped out and he popped it back in. He still finished another 900 miles.
Golly, dude.
I
It
mean,
just goes
that's
to
the type of stuff that
just goes to show like the desire of your why, you know, to overcome whatever you're up against. Doesn't matter.
and I always thought, you know, do I want to quit? And I'm glad Cole pulled us through unically. You know, do you really want to quit on a mechanical failure that you really could have fixed, but you didn't try that hard? And I'm mad at myself for kind of quitting on him there. You know, I didn't really quit, but I was negative. I was a negative, and I'm the one that's always, hey, you got to be positive.
Yep.
We'll find a way.
Yep.
Even if time is ticking, it's okay. We're still in this. We got it. And I told him that a few times. You know, we talked to each other in our helmets. You know, I've calmed him down. So just how bad do you want it? You know, how
Yeah.
bad do you really want this? Do you just kind of want it? Then just kind of give it some effort. If you really want it, you're going to have to, there's pain in the Iron Dog
Yeah.
from day one till last day. There's pain. There's pain every damn day.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, speaking of how bad you want it, so this goes into my final question for you, Smasher. Are you returning for this again next season?
I'm not,
No?
I need a break.
Okay.
It's been 4 years straight. It's been a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of stress.
Yeah.
I didn't find the excitement this year, and I'm sad about that. And I just think maybe I need a break. I still want my top 10, but it's got to be the right scenario. You know, I've learned that. Um, you know, Cole and I didn't get a fair shake at this because we didn't get a lot to know each other. Um, but I really would. I don't know who I could run it with. I don't know who, you know, you want someone that you gel with, that it's fun, it's happy. Even in the bad times, you got to be able to laugh. You got to find the, the funniness. Outside of one of the villagers put up a plaque and said, "You paid to do this." Like that's funny.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
That is hilarious.
Yeah.
But maybe I need a year off. Maybe I need a year off to relax and not stress about snow conditions and you know how's my sled going to be, parts, getting this all together. You know, time off of work, money. You know, asking sponsors for money. You know, so on and so forth. So as of right now, man, I hate to say it, I really do, but yeah, I'm cooked. This year cooked me, and maybe I just need to maybe watching it from this side. I'll go up and watch the start, and maybe that'll rekindle. Maybe it won't. Maybe it's run its course, and
Yep.
maybe it's time for Smasher to retire and go back to the mountains where I want to be. But
Yeah.
I do have a lot of passion and respect for the people that do the Iron Dog. I admire them so much. It is just absolutely
How could
incredible
you not? Yeah. Yeah.
what these guys do. I mean, Todd Palin did it 30 times. He retired this year, 30 times.
That's insane.
Like, hello, what's going on upstairs,
Yeah,
man?
dude, questionable.
That's Chris Olds. I think this is his 25th time, 25 times.
That's wild.
And if I lived in Alaska, I think it'd be a little better. I mean, no, I know it would be a little better. Then you have the access to everything.
Yeah, sure.
But running from down here in the States, man, it's a lot.
Yeah, hell of a task.
So,
Heck
yes, sir.
Damn. Well, I'm excited, regardless what direction it goes. I'm excited to see what the future holds for you, bud. If you take next year off, then
Hopefully something good.
That's just more time you could come up to Oregon and spend riding with the boys, huh?
And I do miss that. I do. There's a lot of people I'd like to come ride with that the Iron Dog takes away. So
yeah, sure.
Yeah, we'll see where it goes.
Heck yeah. Well, cool, man. Smasher, I mean, you've done several episodes with us. I've had a lot of conversations with you, and I hope you know I love the shit out of you, man. You're a stud.
Thanks, buddy.
You're a good dude.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I try, man.
Yeah. So, not to put you on the spot or anything, but do you want to? We could go 3 options here to wrap up this episode. You could ask a question. Could be about anything for the listeners and viewers. You could do a would you rather question for the listeners and viewers, or we could just end the episode. It's up to you.
Yeah, let's do. What was your first one?
Just a general question. Could be about anything.
The general public. For everybody that's watching out there, maybe help me along here. Should I just end my Iron Dog career? Should I give it a year off and then maybe come back? Maybe that'll.
It's great.
It is cool how many people do follow me, and the amount of love and just the most random people. I love that about the Iron Dog is the messages, and how many people are watching. That would keep you going.
Sure.
So let's see what people say. Right. People think I don't have it anymore. Then that'll tell the truth. All
right. Heck yeah. Well, you guys know what to do. Comment below with the answer. Let give Smasher maybe some guidance and an opinion on what he should do. Cool.
Help me out.
Help a brother out. Yeah. No, that's a good question, dude. Well, cool. Again, man, I appreciate you taking the time and opening up your schedule to jump on. I know that you've had some other podcast episodes and some TV time, some interviews and whatnot. So I appreciate you making the time to jump on with myself and the Sledson boys. So thank you, dude.
Always, man. I appreciate your time, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Yeah, dude. I mean, we're just over a week away from the team ride.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. It's going to be
we'll see.
Our first time on the snow together, dude.
Yeah, don't be looking for anything special. You guys might have to push me around a little.
Hey, man, regardless, dude, I can't wait. I'm looking forward to spending some time with you and hanging out.
Absolutely.
And getting on the snow together, so it'll be good. So, cool.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, dude.
Brother.
I appreciate it. Sledson listeners, thank you guys for tuning in for this episode, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.